One morning, Zeus awoke to the delicious smell of freshly baked bread. He'd spent all night at a party with the other gods and was feeling rather tired and grumpy. "Hestia, bring me some of that bread for my breakfast," he shouted. His sister was the only one of the gods who ever did any baking. Hestia's puzzled face appeared around the door. "I don't know who's making bread, but it's not me," she said. "Who else can it be?" said Zeus, getting out of bed. He followed the smell out of the palace to a gap in the clouds. When he peered down through it, his face darkened with anger. Dotted across the world below, like little red flowers, were hundreds and hundreds of burning fires. Zeus roared with rage. "Humans aren't supposed to have fire," he shouted. "Only we gods have the power to handle it properly." And he stormed down to earth immediately and seized the first man he came to by the scruff of the neck. "Who gave you fire?" he demanded. "Prometheus, the Titan," the man blurted, turning pale. "That troublemaker," Zeus muttered. "I might have guessed." He dropped the man in a heap on the ground and charged away. Prometheus was at home eating breakfast with Epimetheus, his brother, when Zeus burst through the door. "How dare you give humans fire?" he thundered. Epimetheus leaped to his feet in alarm, but Prometheus didn't look the slightest worried. "Why shouldn't they have fire?" he asked. "I feel sorry for them, shivering with cold on dark nights." And I could tell they were tired of eating raw food. Zeus turned purple and looked as though he might explode. "It wasn't yours to give. You must have stolen it." "Yeah, that was easy enough," Prometheus boasted. "Yesterday, while you were at a party, I lit a stalk from the sun and carried it down to earth." He smirked and added, "I taught the humans how to use fire and how to keep going. You can't take it back now." That was more than Zeus was prepared to stand for. "I'll teach you how it feels to have something stolen," he shouted, and he grabbed Prometheus by the arm and began to drag him out of the house. However defiant he was feeling, Prometheus was no match for a god. "Farewell, brother," he called to Epimetheus, and a word of warning: don't take anything from the gods unless you're prepared to face the consequences. Zeus took Prometheus to a mountain and chained him there. "You can stay here and take your punishment until you're sorry," he said. Every day, a giant eagle sent by Zeus would swoop down. Slowly and agonisingly, it would peck out his liver. But although this would have been painful enough to kill anyone else, Prometheus didn't die. Every night, his liver grew back, only for the eagle to arrive the next morning and peck it out all over again. Amazingly, Prometheus didn't regret what he had done. "You can torture me until the end of time," he yelled. "I won't be sorry." Zeus called all the other gods to a meeting at Olympus and told them what had happened. He was furious with the humans for accepting the gift of fire and had come up with a way to punish them. Working together, the gods sculpted a perfect woman's figure out of clay. Aphrodite, the goddess of love, showered her with beauty. Zeus's daughter, Athena, dressed her in a shimmering gown. And Hermes, Zeus's son, had a bundle of curiosity in her heart. Then the gods all breathed life into her. The woman's eyes flickered open and she looked around in wonder. "Who are you?" she asked. "We are the gods," Zeus answered. "Your name is Pandora. You are to be the wife of Epimetheus." He pressed into her hands a large, decorated box. "This is a wedding present," he said. "You may keep it in your house, but you must never open it." "Why not?" Pandora asked. "What's in it?" "It's time for you to go now," Hermes told her, ignoring her questions. "I'll escort you to your husband's house." And when Epimetheus opened the door to find a beautiful woman and a smiling god on his doorstep, his brother's warning vanished entirely from his mind. "Come in," he said. He and Pandora got along wonderfully. In fact, they were so in love after an hour of meeting that they got married that very day. When the wedding celebrations were over and the couple went home, Epimetheus noticed the decorated box. "Where did that come from?" he asked. "It's a wedding gift from Zeus," Pandora replied, picking up the box and staring at it. "He gave it to me before I'd even met you and said I must never open it." "Then we should do as he says," Epimetheus said. He took the box from her. Pandora nodded, but she couldn't help wondering what was inside. The next time she was alone in the house, she picked it up and held it, staring at the decorations on the lid. "What use is a box we can't open?" she thought. And when her husband came home, she put it back and said nothing. One morning, a few days later, she was waving goodbye to him through the window when the box caught her eye again. She sat on the edge of the bed and stared at it. Her curiosity burned inside her. "Perhaps Zeus meant I shouldn't open it before I was married," she said, and she took the box from the shelf.